Here comes the money. You're now listening to the Gambling with Gold podcast with Jason Gold. Presented by Champions Round.
Welcome to Gambling with Gold. My name is Jason Gold, and as always, I am joined by my buddy from the Action Network, Dan Titus. Dan, it's Friday before the conference championship games. You ready to get to the action?
Let's get to it.
We only have 3 games left in the NFL season, but Champions Round action does not stop. We got a lot of things cooking up this weekend, and as soon as the NFL season's over, we got more stuff for the NFL Draft, March Madness, maybe a little golf action in there. We'll see. We have 2 7-stakes contests running this week. One for each of the AFC and NFC title games. We're giving away a bunch of sweet stuff, including a Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey signed jersey. So go enter those. Today, we are also giving away a Trevor Lawrence signed football if you enter our Boost Ball contest that is on the app right now. Also, right after this podcast, 11:30 a.m. Pacific, Twitter Spaces, we're going to give away an Aaron Jones jersey. If you go ahead and share the news on that one, come in, join us, maybe ask a question. Maybe give a prediction for the game. We would love to hear from you. So that's happening 11:30 on Twitter. You'll see more about that later. All right, let's jump into the games. First one up, 12 o'clock, 12:30, whatever time it is, Pacific. Kansas City, -7, hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Total sitting at 54.5. On Wednesday's show, we were kind of a little split on this. We both agreed that Kansas City was going to win. We were a little torn on the spread. I was leaning more towards Kansas City. You were really kind of split down the middle here, maybe a little bit towards the Bengals, if you can see that 7.5 out there. Has anything changed in your mind over the course of the past 2 days?
Yeah, this one, it's interesting because as a producer for Action, I got to hear all the experts talk about these things. And as I've been learning more information, much of the Action crew is really still on the Bengals, man. But I feel like I got to side with the Chiefs. I think that this is going to be the point where the Bengals, they've been great. You know, they've been great to the terms of like they've been allowing Joe Burrow to really flourish. Their offense can't be stopped, but it comes to a certain point where I feel like they're going to meet their match. They're going to have to put points on the board here. And I think Kansas City's defense, you know, week 17 was the last time these two teams played. And, you know, Burrow definitely played outside of his mind, had like 446 yards. You got to expect some regression there, right? So like they had to play their perfect game, whereas the Chiefs, they were kind of meddling there. So I feel like they're going to play a lot better here. And I'm going to take the Chiefs in the points at -7. I know it's a key number, but I've already bet this one. I don't think the line's going to move too much more with all the sharp action on the Bengals here. Maybe, you know, it gets bet down just a little bit, but like, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to ride with the Chiefs here. I think that they're going to take care of business. And unfortunately, Joe Burrow and the Bengals magical season is going to come to a close, but it's going to be a fun game. Expect a lot of points. They put up 65 in the first game, so I'm expecting fireworks this time too.
I think that the only way the Bengals win this game is in the shootout. So if you like the Bengals, I think there's a strong correlation with the over 54.5. Chiefs, debatable in terms of the over-under there. I don't think that the Chiefs need to win this game in a shootout. I think they can win it a variety of other ways. I'm going to get up early. They've played traditionally bad in the quarter this year. Especially as of late. So if you believe in the Bengals, I think that also you can do that first quarter plus 2.5 even right now. So I'm coming up with all the best for the Bengals, which I don't believe in. But I'm telling you, if you do believe in them, this is probably the way that you want to play it. This game has not come off of 7, despite the fact that all the sharps are on the Bengals. Sportsbooks are telling you something there. They like this number at 7. They're getting the amount of action that they want on both sides. You're probably not going to see this thing move at all. So, if you like Kansas City, like Bengals, it's going to happen in 7. My opinion on it is that I just believe that the Chiefs, they showed in the first half of the last game against the Bengals that they can torch this defense. They're going to be able to get to Burrow. Burrow in the last game connected on 3 bombs down the field. He needed these 70-yard touchdowns 2 times to chase, and then another long one just to be in that game, to come back in that game. That's not going to happen. They're going to play the cover 2 shell. He'll probably have like a lot of completions. He'll probably have a lot of yards. He'll probably have a lot of attempts. You're not hitting the big one down the field against the Chiefs this time. They will not let it happen. And I think they're going to shade all their coverage towards Chase because he's the one that can break it. So, T. Higgins over receptions and yards. Tyler Boyd over receptions and yards. Tyler Boyd. I love that one. So Tyler Boyd over 3.5 receptions, over 39.5 yards. I saw your guys in action, talked about this too, but I love those. The T. Higgins over 5.5 receptions. I like that one a lot. I won't bet the Chase one just because he's so awesome, maybe, but I think that they're going to shade the coverage so much that the other two are going to have a lot of opportunities. And because they're bringing the blitz, something we talked about last weekend with the Titans, Burrow's going to have to throw the ball very quickly. Who's that go to? Joe Mixon. All the receiving props for Joe Mixon. We're hitting the over. I know you're going to too.
Yeah, the other props that I played is I think Joe Burrow's probably going to go over his 284.5 passing yards, but I really like Patrick Mahomes at 289.5. He's throwing for 300 and average of 391 in the first two postseason games. I don't think this dude's going to stop. He's on a mission. He knows what's at stake here, so he's just going to be slinging it all over the place. But I really love the Tyler Boyd though, 39.5. That seems pretty low for exactly what you talked about. They're going to be shading coverage to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd should definitely have a better day. And don't be surprised if CJ Uzomah also gets a little bit more active in the passing game too. I think his receiving props at 3.5 or 4.5, something like that. So I think that's a pretty safe. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe over too.
So I am actually against you on one of those, and I think it's because of game script. I have Mahomes under 294.5 passing yards. I think that they're going to get up early. I don't think he's going to have to throw as much. In the first game against the Bengals, I think he only had like
259.
Yeah, so I could see that sort of happening again.
But it's off the gas, though.
Yeah, maybe they keep on the gas, but I think that they're going to run the ball quite a bit. I like CEH over 37.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, it seems a bit low.
Mahomes, if Mahomes is throwing for 300, my guess is that they're in a tight game, and I don't expect a tight game. I like the Burrow passing yards over probably because they're going to have to, which is why we like all the totals for all of these receivers. I do like the Burrow over 8.5 rushing yards also. Talked about it on the Wednesday show. He's going to get blitz. He's going to escape one. He'll probably get a 10-yard rushing gain on one of these plays. So give me the over 8.5 there. And also, I don't think they're going to be taking these at the end of the game. So that helps me by about 2 yards also.
Yeah.
My two other bets I want to talk about in this game. Teaser, talked about on Wednesday. I had already bet it, but Kansas City -1 and San Francisco +9.5. I think that those are – if you're going to play a teaser, it's kind of the only one that you can do. It's the one that makes the most sense. It's the most closely associated with the one teaser. I love that Kansas City -1 piece a ton. San Francisco, I mean, those games are always close. It's like what we talk about with these division opponents that really know each other well. It always ends up being a field goal game. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but much like when we talked about the Ravens and Steelers during the season, it doesn't matter what's going on with either team. It ends up being a field goal game. So I think that +9.5 is a lot safer play than playing the 3.5. Last bet for the game, Kansas City team total over 31. I just don't think this. I don't think this Bengals defense is going to be able to keep up in this game. And one last thing on the Bengals offense. One of the reasons why I think that Kansas City can dominate. Look at their first two playoff games. They've settled for 6 field goals and only scored 3 offensive touchdowns.
Evan McPherson's been their MVP.
we think that they have been playing really well because Burrow has, he's flashy and Chase is great. They have not been getting the ball in the end zone.
No.
If we take anything from Buffalo got the ball in the end zone literally every freaking time they had the ball, and they still weren't able to win. So they're going to need to go all out. They should be super aggressive. Every time on 4th down, you have to go score touchdowns. You can't punt the ball if you're past midfield. And I don't think that Zach Taylor has it in him to do that. I think he's going to play a little too conservative, a little too tight in this situation, and not let it fly. So that leads me on to Kansas City also.
Yeah, that's interesting because, I think Zach Taylor has definitely been getting into this mode of still running the ball on 1st down a lot. Definitely very predictable. So, maybe we'll see a different game scheme, but I haven't seen it yet in the first 2 games. So, yeah, that's an interesting point there.
All right. You have a score prediction for the game?
Ooh. 31-24.
Right on the spread. Love it. My prediction's pretty close.
Push status.
You should actually just bet the push to land on exactly 7. That would be
you're right. That's probably better. You're right.
My prediction's Kansas City 35, Cincinnati 24. So pretty closely associated there.
All right.
We would both get the over in that situation. Yours by a half point, mine by a little bit more. But Kansas City covered. The whole danger with playing the 7 here is just they could be up. Like you have to be up 21 points for this to be out of play. So if it's down 14 and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But we both like Kansas City to bring it home. All right, let's bring over to the SoFi Stadium. Rams, 49ers, third time this year. Rams minus 3.5 total, now sitting at 45.5. This thing opened up at 47.5 some places. This keeps going down, down, down. Bet percentage on that one right now, 45% of the bet, 65% of the money is on that under. We're getting into territory. 44 is a key number. 47 is the key number. We're kind of in that middle zone. If this keeps going down and this hits this 44, I have no choice but to play the over in this game. Something that I'm not sure that I want to do based on my score prediction, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So anyways, I'll start off with my first bet in here. Kansas City -1, San Francisco +9.5. I talked about it before. San Francisco, I cannot foresee a world in which they get blown out in this game. There's a better chance that they win this game than they get blown out. So give me the 9.5 on this part all day.
Yeah, I think that's the base. That's the best play that I like for it, because I was really struggling with this, and much of the Action Network. I think everyone on Action Network is on San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
I took a Rams Chiefs parlay early on, and now I had to hedge with my teaser. The teasing them up to 9.5, and then taking the Chiefs down to 1 in a pick 'em.
Hey, there's a middle there. There's a nice middle there.
100% is a nice middle. So that was my hedge there. I think that I'm still giving a little bit of hope for the Rams here, and maybe that's just blind hope, because Shanahan's just owned them. Like, how do you beat someone 6 straight times and not have some kind of course correction there? But, I love the over, the way that this is trending. I love that this number is coming down. They hit the over in both games this season. One on the side of, San Francisco winning 31-14, and the other one was obviously close in Week 18. But you got to expect there's going to be some scoring here. Both teams obviously know each other very well, being divisional opponents. But the edge is with San Francisco here. If they're able to run the ball, control the clock, it's really going to be on Matt Stafford if he can make these big plays. But a couple player props that I like: Van Jefferson over 29.5 receiving yards. That one's a big play. Also like the let me see here. I picked Cooper Kupp over 102.5 receiving yards. He crushed that in both games. I'm just banking on Cooper Kupp just to be a target hog. He's got to be. He's just a monster. You got to play with that. Even though it's triple digits, I feel okay about it. So those are the two main props that I like. And then I also took a Jimmy Garoppolo under 231. He's never thrown for over 219 in any of his playoff appearances. Now, he could have a good day, and the person that's going to have probably the best day is probably George Kittle, because the Rams can't guard the middle of the field. So I would probably take some overs on George Kittle props as well.
All right. So I'll start off with San Francisco +3.5. Obviously, I talked about this a little bit. I think that they can win. They're 6-0 against McVay. Shanahan is. They have the right scheme. Even if the Rams win this game, and I'm not saying that they can't, it's going to be a field goal in my mind.
Yeah.
That
3.5 is good. Yeah.
That hook is just too valuable. It is a little surprising that it hasn't hit 3 or touched 3 yet. The sharp money is definitely on San Francisco, but I think there's enough Ram stuff in future markets that they don't really kind of want to give that away. So if it get down to 3, I probably would just stay away. But that hook, give me San Francisco. I'll sprinkle a little bit on the money line too, because why not? I think there's a really good chance that they end up winning this game. I agree with you on the prop. Van Jefferson over 29.5 yards and over 2.5 receptions. I love both of those bets. Those are definitely coming from Action Network, but I think that, they're going to shade towards Cooper. He's still going to get his. I think that they're going to need a third playmaker outside of Odell. I don't like Cam Akers in this game. I think that San Francisco is going to do a really good job stopping the run, forcing the pass. I also anticipate a world in which maybe the Rams have to come back a little bit and are throwing the ball a lot. So love Van Jefferson a lot. Elijah Mitchell, over 17.5 carries and over 71.5 rushing yards. Even if they're behind, we saw this in week 18. Even if they're behind, Kyle Shanahan will commit to the run regardless. He thinks it's the best way for his offense and his scheme to win a game and to put up points. This is what he's going to do. He's going to eat time off the clock. He's going to run with Elijah Mitchell. You know that he loves his bell cow running back. It doesn't matter which one. He's got 8 of them in the backfield, but Mitchell's been the guy this year. He's going to get as many carries as they will give him. So I think that Mitchell going over on carries and rushing yards is smart, so long as he doesn't get injured. I think those will probably end up good. My score prediction in this game, I'm going to go with San Francisco, to be honest with you. I'm going to go 24-21 49ers. I think that they will get it done. I think that we get a rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago. And, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to get killed by all my LA friends from going against the Rams and rooting against the Rams. But you know what? This podcast, we're in the money business, baby. We're not in the friends business. We're about making cash. What's your prediction of this one?
I was going to give the slight edge to the Rams here. 20. Let's call it 20. Oof. Let's call it 30-27.
Ooh, that's a way over. You should bang that number right now, buddy.
You're right. I already put it in there as I saw that coming down. I was like, got to scoop that over.
All right. I love it. Do you have any other maybe props futures that we want to talk about? Kind of like the idea of doing the Chiefs 49ers money line parlay, and then also doing that matchup for the Super Bowl exactas both ways, just doubling down or tripling down all the way across.
I ain't mad at it. I think that's probably based off of what you're betting now. That would make sense to jump on that exact matchup now before these games get played. What are the odds on that?
I have no idea. I just made it up on the spot. That's what I did.
I was about to say, I might have to go to DraftKings or one of the real legal books to find that one. See here.
Yeah, I may be able to find this really quickly. Very, very interesting. I mean, if you like the Chiefs and the Rams to both win this weekend, you could parlay those like you did and then do the exacta matchups also. I don't hate it either way. I just think that I would double down on it, to be honest with you. I do not see a straight forecast here. Okay. Oh, here we go. San Francisco to beat Kansas City plus 575. Kansas City to
That's
beat
a good number.
Kansas City to beat San Francisco plus 350. So if you believe both those teams are going to win, you win either outcome that way. So, and if we're assuming, I mean, it's probably a terrible assumption, but let's assume that Kansas City is as close to a lock as you're going to see in an AFC championship game to win and take this home. So then all you're doing is banking on the Rams and the 49ers game. So you only have to make one correct choice, essentially, in order to get plus 350 and plus 575. So, I don't know. It's interesting.
Do you think that hypothetically, if the Niners and the Chiefs, can the Niners beat the Chiefs in the rematch?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the 49ers, the way that they're set up, they can beat any team. Because if their running game is successful, they can just sit on the ball. And they have enough playmakers to get it done. And Kansas City's defense is, let's call it, weak enough where they're going to score. So if San Francisco has a game where they're running the ball really well, they hit some plays with Kittle and Debo, and they sit on the ball and they have these 7-8 minute drives, keeps Mahomes on the sidelines, and they're able to get home with that front four without a blitz, which they're really good at doing. I actually think that number came out, I think I saw it at like 3 or 3.5, like the look ahead line. 3.5, I'm probably on San Francisco. Now, do I think they're going to win? No. I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. But do I foresee a world in which they're able to? Yeah, and I actually prefer them to the Rams to beat the Chiefs because of how they play and how they're able to sit on the ball. Stafford is going to want to win a duel versus Mahomes. Look, Josh Allen just tried his best. He played like one of the best games in the history of football.
Ever.
And he couldn't do it. So, sure, the Rams would be at home. They'd have a home field advantage. No, they wouldn't. There's no home field advantage there. Don't tell anyone. So, I really don't think that there's going to be anything that the Rams will be able to do. I mean, yeah, I think that San Francisco has a better chance to beat the Chiefs than the Rams do.
Man, that exact result of KC to beat the Niners at plus 400 and the Niners to beat the Chiefs at plus 650 or 550, however you're seeing it. Those seem like some good futures to sprinkle on if you're believing in both of those teams.
I feel
that's good value.
And then but if you do that and you're already on the 49ers, if they go ahead in the game, then you just hedge out on the Rams money line line.
Right.
Like
right.
Taking a position like that is way better than taking the Rams and doing the opposite. So I think that I'm going to do this. And just
the
hope
live
San
betting
Francisco-
definitely adds the nice little hedge there. If you see the game script going against what you're thinking, then drop it on the other side real quick. Save yourself.
All right. I think that does it. Episode 52, Conference Championships. We are in the books. We'll be back sometime next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe.
Pro Bowl special?
We'll be doing Pro Bowl, and February 3rd, all of the props get released in all the different books. So we're going to have props galore. Maybe we should do this. Next week, we're going to do a props look ahead, and then we're going to do our early part 1 prop locks. Then we'll do the game, and then we'll do official everything the Friday before the Super Bowl. So we got 4 shows for the Super Bowl. It's going to be great. We'll do a little Pro Bowl action. Maybe we'll start getting into a little basketball action. It's going to be good times. I promise you.
Great times. Getting money, great times.
Great times. All right. That does it. Good luck with all your bets this weekend. We will talk to you on Tuesday. See ya.
Peace.